Right now, one candidate for U.S. Senator is getting a major endorsement from a current senator. We've got those details coming up next.
And we're still watching for some more storm chances. We'll take a look coming up.
Good morning and thanks for joining us on News 3 Now. We're going to take a look outside this morning with Julian after a very active day yesterday. What's today looking like, Julian?
Well, today is looking like a lot of improvement for us as we are waking up, still holding on to some cloud cover, but in terms of rain for the last event that we just had, we saw a healthy dose of it here in Madison. Since the storms were raging on throughout the overnight hours, we saw about an inch, close to an inch and a half of rainfall for us yesterday. But overall, we're still into a deficit for around this time of year. It's typically around 21, almost 22 inches of rainfall, but we're about 20, almost 20 and a half inches here in Madison, and looking at a deficit of just a little bit more than an inch and a half in itself. But the good news is the storms have moved their way out, but we're still dealing with some cloud cover here. But taking a look at the storm reports over the last 24 hours, as we had mentioned throughout the course of our alert day forecasting and even going throughout the events in themselves yesterday, we were looking at a straight line wind and just a high wind event, and that's exactly what we're seeing from our reports. Plenty of wind damage and wind gust reports. Some areas did see some hail, but not a whole lot of it. Now, as we take a look outside, still dealing with some cloud cover, but we're going to be taking a look at when we can see that clear up in just a few moments. Until then, let's toss it back to you, Shane.
All right, Julian, we appreciate it. This morning, thousands of customers are without power across Wisconsin after those severe storms rolled through the state. Right now, Alliant Energy is reporting more than 350 outages, affecting more than 11,000 customers. Over 2,700 customers have lost power here in Dane County. Winnebago County was hit the hardest with more than 5,900 customers without power. The search continues this morning for a missing boater in Lake Monona. Crews had to call off their efforts yesterday due to the severe weather. First responders were called to the lake around 1 p.m. yesterday afternoon for reports of a fisherman who went overboard. Two other men were in the boat at the same time, and they told deputies the 74-year-old Milwaukee man was driving the boat and fell out when they hit a swell and turned sharply. Law enforcement was not able to find the missing man before that severe weather rolled in and forced divers out of the water. Officials asked that boaters stay a safe distance away from the sheriff's boats in order to protect the divers. Those storms hit plenty of areas of Wisconsin, including out in La Crosse as well. Streets flooded and the storms brought down trees across the community. Two large branches fell off of two trees and fell on a family's house. The homeowner says she's been asking the city of La Crosse to take the tree down for years due to damage done during previous storms. Now she has branches in her living room.
Very frustrated. I'm a single mom. And if the city were to listen to me as a taxpayer, this wouldn't have happened. Like I said, it's been 5 years.
And Morales says her family is safe and not injured, but her dog was shaken from the incident. A big name in the Democratic primary came to Madison to support a Senate candidate ahead of the primary. Senator Elizabeth Warren has been vocal for months about her support for Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes in the upcoming election. Catherine Merck was at the state capitol and heard what these Democratic leaders are telling voters.
We stand together, we fight together, we persist together for Wisconsin and for Mandela Barnes. Come on down, Mandela.
We're just weeks away from the August primary election. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren made her message clear. She thinks Mandela Barnes should work with her in the Senate.
17 more days and I can't wait. 17 more days until the polls close. 17 more days until Tammy Baldwin comes one step closer to having a real partner in every fight she fights.
While speaking outside of the state capitol, Warren spoke to the big issues that are on her radar. That includes Roe v. Wade and legalizing abortion, combating climate change, and supporting union workers. All subjects Barnes wants to fight for, running on his Wisconsin roots as fuel for voters.
In order for us to change the way business in Washington is done, we have to change the people we send to Washington.
The biggest message from these two, they want Ron Johnson out.
Do you want Mandela Barnes to be your next senator?
17 days away from the primary, it's still uncertain if it'll be Mandela Barnes that's in. Reporting in Madison, I'm Catherine Merck for Fox 47.
We also contact the Republican side of the ballot asking for its response on Senator Warren's support for Barnes. In a statement, RNC spokesperson Rachel Reisner said, quote, if Mandela Barnes spent as much time finding solutions to inflation, record gas prices, and supply chain crises as he did embracing Elizabeth Warren and her far-left agenda, he might actually have a shot of not embarrassing himself in November, end quote. Now, Warren also made a plea for Barnes supporters to open their wallets as he faces several rivals who have already poured in millions into their campaigns. And that's money that Barnes says he just does not have right now. And again, as a reminder, News 3 Now has done extensive coverage on campaign finances ahead of the primary. You can check that out on our website, channel3000.com. As President Biden continues to have mild COVID symptoms, health experts are again stressing the importance of vaccination and boosters to protect against severe disease. But some are wondering if you should wait until variant-specific vaccines are available. U.S. health officials say, don't wait, protect yourself now.
You'll still be eligible for those variant-specific boosters once they become available later in the fall.
CDC data shows about 2/3 of the population is fully vaccinated with at least their initial series, but less than 1/3 of the population has had a booster shot. Federal health officials are discussing expanding the eligibility of second boosters to those under 50. Some believe a decision on that could come in the next month or so. The World Health Organization has declared the monkeypox outbreak a global public health emergency. It's the highest alert level the WHO can declare. The decision comes as cases of the viral disease have been rising not only in the U.S., but also around the world. Right now, more than 16,000 cases have been reported in 74 countries.
This is an outbreak that's concentrated among men who have sex with men. That means that this is an outbreak that can be stopped with the right strategies in the right groups.
Because the virus can spread through contact with bodily fluids, respiratory droplets, skin-to-skin contact, and the touching of bedding or clothes, anyone is at risk of contracting the disease. The U.S. is reporting over 2,800 cases, and the CDC has identified 2 cases of the virus in children. The government has shipped nearly 300,000 monkeypox vaccines to states across the country and to U.S. territories. All right, still ahead, how one group in Florida is planning on saving an endangered species. And you're taking a live look over the Capitol right now. Julian is back with the full forecast just ahead.
Hi, this is Lisa from 4Imprint. Yes. I'd like 50 welcome wows, 300 customer I love it, and 200 team member oh yes. Certainly. You know we got some brand new woohoos.
Dial up the wow factor with promotional products from 4Imprint. We specialize in awesome items that are certain to awe and guaranteed to deliver some ooh yes. From apparel, backpacks, drinkware to high-tech items.
Wow.
I love it. Woohoo!
Go to 4imprint.com and find some wow now. 4Imprint, for certain.
There's a reason big dental bills often come as a shock, because sometimes you don't realize what's not covered until you get the bill. That's why affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual is important. It can give you benefits that go beyond what you get from more limited coverage plans. Because no one likes a big dental bill, especially if you're retired or on a fixed income. For a free information kit, call or go online now. This isn't some discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps cover over 350 procedures, like cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures, at any dentist you want. Dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company helps cover preventive care, basic work, and major procedures with no deductibles and no annual maximum. For your free information kit with all the details, call now or visit sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual. It's Fuel Frenzy Weekend, this Friday through Sunday at Hy-Vee. Get a 16-cent fuel saver on Pepsi 6-packs when you buy 4. A 10-cent fuel saver when you buy 10 pork chops. A 10-cent fuel saver on 2 pounds of Driscoll's blueberries. A 10-cent fuel saver when you buy 2 Nabisco snack crackers. And get a 10-cent fuel saver on M&M's sharing size. Don't miss Fuel Frenzy Weekend, this Friday through Sunday at Hy-Vee. And check out HyVeeDeals.com for even more deals.
And my economic plan is moving this country in a better direction.
What planet is he living on? Record gas prices, 40-year high inflation, costing families $5,000 more for their necessities. Sorry, Joe, that's the wrong direction. Here on planet Earth, Senator Johnson voted against Biden's massive deficit spending that sparked inflation, and he passed tax cuts to help Wisconsin families survive the economic turmoil caused by Democrats.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
In the future, everything will be powered by renewable energy, but it's not as easy as flipping a switch. It's a long road, requiring decades of time and trillions of dollars. But what if there was a better direction on the path to zero carbon emissions? An energy source that's available right now, that's affordable, plentiful, and environmentally friendly. There is, and it's propane. Get the facts at propane.com/now.
And taking a look outside, well, we're starting things off a bit cloudy. In some areas may even see just a straight little shower that might not even hit the ground. But overall, folks, we're going to be looking at some dry conditions throughout the rest of our morning now that the storms have moved their way out of southern Wisconsin. Temperatures will stay pretty steady through the 70s throughout the rest of our morning. But by the time we get into the lunchtime hour, we'll start to warm up just a little bit into those lower 80s. But the good news is, folks, even though we're seeing that breeze coming in from the northwest, we're not going to be looking at too much humidity as we get into the later part of today. Now, here's a look at our, thanks to our friend Tony, who has donated us a nice little shot of this shelf cloud of some of the storms that we saw just outside of Dodge County, which was at Fox Lake. Thank you for that, because this is a beauty and a heck of a shot over some barns. But now as we take a look at our radar as of right now, we're seeing the storms starting to roll their way out, still start to track their way into some parts of northern Illinois, just outside of Chicago. It's going to be a soggy start for our friends in Chi-Town, but here in southern Wisconsin, it's going to be rather dry. Again, may see a little brief shower, but overall, we're not going to be looking at any more wet conditions throughout the course of the day. Here's a look at our last 24-hour storm reports, however. The event says we saw 3 rounds of storms that just kept hitting back and forth throughout our afternoon, evening, and nightly hours, and even into the overnights. We started to see some of those high winds that were really bringing in wind damage throughout much of southern Wisconsin. That's where we're seeing most of our reports. Some areas just outside of Madison and closer towards the northern parts of northeast outside of Camp Douglas. Along I-39, we had a couple of some hail reports, but overall, we weren't seeing too much in terms of really outstanding damages for us throughout the rest of the storm reports. But our 3 things we're going to need to know: it's going to be quiet and dry over the next few days, and we do have a couple of storm chances, but they're not going to be over substantial. And on top of it, it's going to be some pleasant weather ahead for us. As we take a look at our next 10 days, temperatures are going to be in the lower 80s, some 70s, plenty of sunshine as well, and the humidity won't start to rise back until we get into our Wednesday, where we do have a shot of seeing some storms going in from our overnight hours of Tuesday into our early Wednesday. But if things hold steady throughout the next few days, because of course this is always subject to change, it's going to be quite a wonderful last week of July, Shane.
Looking good right now, just checking out that graphic. People start making some plans, maybe midweek, can relax a little bit after dealing with what we dealt with yesterday, because that was an active day.
Yes, it was, and it's great to finally have some relief from the heat and from the humidity.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice smooth sailing ahead,
all right,
hopefully.
Julian, we appreciate it. Yeah. And as always, you got to stay prepared. You can do that by getting our First Warn Forecast weather app. It has hourly forecast, road conditions, and the latest radar. I was checking it all day yesterday. You can too. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search for WISC weather. All right, when we get back, we've got more of today's top stories just ahead on News 3 Now this morning. We'll be right back.
Call for action only on News 3 Now.
At Pick and Save, we believe local produce shouldn't be hard to find. That's That's why we work with local farms right in our own backyard to bring you fresher than fresh produce.
You got everything I need. You're like medicine to me. Oh, baby, you.
Because shopping for local produce should be as easy as shopping at your local Pick and Save. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
As owner of Wisconsin's largest construction company, I have a blueprint, a plan for every project. So here's mine for Wisconsin. I'll stand up to the radical left and their socialist agenda. We'll back the blue and get tough on violent crime. Bad guys, they're not gonna like me. I'll crack down on election fraud and keep schools open 5 days a week, no matter what Fauci says. I'm Tim Michaels, and that's my plan. Now let's get to work.
Those brave men and women of our armed forces, generations of them. Why should today's burdens fall back onto them? They were there for us. Now let's be there for them. Your local Wisconsin energy providers and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund are working together to deliver Wisconsin veterans in crisis heat, power, and help staying in their home. But they can't do it alone. Donate today.
Lash sensational sky high from Maybelline, New York. Limitless length plus volume. Flex brush. Over 10 million sold. And try Sky High Cosmic Black. Intense black pigments. Only from Maybelline, New York.
And he got so upset. Oh my God. Look. No way. She has definitely got some work done.
Doesn't even look the same anymore.
Talk about an extreme makeover. I wonder how much of Bob's money she spent on those upgrades.
Hey! The house looks great, right? 3 years, no interest on roofing and siding from Feldco.
Right now, get 3 years, no interest on Feldco Roofing and Siding.
3 years, no interest on Feldco Roofing and Siding ends soon. Call now.
866 for Feldco.
Need emergency weather alerts before conditions turn bad? Download the First Warn Weather app right now. Turn on notifications and I'll alert you when severe weather threatens. The First Warn Weather app. Get it now.
Powered by News 3 Now. News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Just looking again at some of the last 24-hour storm reports from the multiple rounds of storms that we saw throughout much of southern Wisconsin and even impacted some of our friends into central Wisconsin as well. As we go around the areas, we can see because the storms came in from the northwest. So La Crosse, we were seeing straight line winds and plenty of wind damage reports that stretched their way across I-39 and I-90, hitting into the Dells and for our friends into Fond du Lac overnight. And for us here in Madison, not so much, but we still had some reports of high wind gusts that even reached around 60 miles per hour. But we had even a couple of hail reports that were into the golf ball sized range for us. Now, as we take a look at what we're going to be seeing on our surface map, the good news is, folks, is that we're looking at much more quieter weather ahead. As a cold front coming in from Canada is going to keep things pretty pleasant over the next couple of days. Humidity is going to drop and temperatures will be rather seasonable for this time of year. Timing things out, going into our afternoon, we're going to see the skies open up quite a bit. Plenty of sunshine, even though we could see a potential shower early this morning as we still have an overcast near Madison. Overall, it's going to be a dry and a comfortable one. So make sure that you get outside and enjoy the day, Shane.
All right, Julian, we appreciate it. Now, there's new hope for manatees, those endangered gentle giants, sometimes called sea cows. Wildlife officials in Florida say hundreds have died so far this year. But CBS's Elaine Quijano found one community working to turn the tide.
When Paul Cross navigates Crystal River and Kings Bay, Florida, he can't help but remember when algae choked these waters and suffocated native seagrass, the primary food source for Florida manatees.
We wouldn't even do manatee tours in the summer months. There wasn't as many manatees that stayed.
As director of operations for Plantation Adventure Center, a local dive shop, Cross watched the river decline years ago. Storms and septic tank pollution had taken a toll. Lush green beds of seagrass had been overrun by thick mats of invasive algae. And with no food, the manatees had nearly disappeared. When their numbers dwindled along with other marine life, Lisa Moore realized the river was dying.
I thought, how did I let this happen?
How did I not know that this was going on? And I've lived here all this time.
The dying river compelled Moore, a lifelong resident, to create an organization called Save Crystal River. In 2015, the group hired an aquatic restoration company with an untested idea. Marine biologist Ryan Brushwood works for that company, Sea and Shoreline.
So this is the bad guy of the story. This is Lingbia. Here, it was clogging springs, and it was out-competing the grass just because of the sheer quantity of it.
Their plan was to send divers to the bottom and use giant vacuums like these to hoover up decades of algae and muck. They'd then plant seagrass back into the bay by hand, a painstaking, expensive process. Armed with research from both the company and independent scientists, Save Crystal River took its plan door to door and then to state legislators in Tallahassee. Eventually, the group convinced lawmakers to greenlight a $1.6 million state-funded pilot project to restore about 3 acres.
People around the community, a lot of them didn't believe that it would work.
But 6 years later, the beds of seagrass in the restored areas are coming back, as are the manatees, along with fish and other marine life, as we saw on a recent swim with John Spann of Plantation Adventure Center.
5 years ago, you can look down, you wouldn't see the bottom. You couldn't even see it in here. And now you can swim this whole canal, as you saw, and you can just see the grass, see the bottom.
Residents here are also moving from septic to sewer systems, reducing runoff that feeds harmful algae.
You can clearly see the fish. It's back, and it's just going to get better.
I imagine that must make you pretty happy.
It does. My children, my grandchildren, all the other people that come here, they need to know what this special place is.
Elaine Quijano, CBS News, Crystal River, Florida.
Now, manatees face many threats, including boats, habitat loss, exposure to harmful chemicals, but one of their greatest long-term threats is the loss of warm water habitat. All right, there's still a half hour of news ahead on News 3 Now this morning. We've got a lot of top stories to get to when we get back.
Out here, we know a thing or two about beef. Hy-Vee knows beef too. Only 6 out of 100 cattle are even good enough to bear the Hy-Vee brand. Only 6 out of 100. Quality like that is hard to find. So enjoy your Hy-Vee steak this weekend. You've earned it.
There's a reason big dental bills often come as a shock, because sometimes you don't realize what's not covered until you get the bill. That's why affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual is important. It can give you benefits that go beyond what you get from more limited coverage plans. Because no one likes a big dental bill, especially if you're retired or on a fixed income. For a free information kit, call or go online now. This isn't some discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps cover over 350 procedures, like cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures, at any dentist you want. Dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company helps cover preventive care, basic work, and major procedures, with no deductibles and no annual maximum. For your free information kit with all the details, call now or visit sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Madison Magazine's Summer Restaurant Week is here. Participating restaurants will provide a 3-course meal starting at $30 featuring wine and more, starting July 24th through the 29th. For a list of participating restaurants, menus, and details, visit MadisonRestaurantWeek.com. It's a perfect opportunity to sample some of Madison's local restaurants. Don't miss Madison Magazine's Summer Restaurant Week 2022. Presenting sponsor, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund. Wine sponsor, Delicato and Frederick Wildman.
I want to share my story so others can know that they are not alone.
When my mom and dad were first expecting, the pregnancy had complications and there was very little chance of survival. My mom's health was at risk too. She chose to end the pregnancy.
It was my decision, not some politicians.
Every woman should have the right to make her own decision. And I'll fight alongside you every step of the way until you do. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
News 3 Now's Call for Action team is here for you, exposing scams, mediating consumer disputes, and getting results. Contact us by phone or on channel3000.com.
Call for Action, only on News 3 Now.
We're taking action for you.
The Madison All-City Championship Swim and Dive Meet celebrates 60 years of competition, July 28th through the 30th. Come out and cheer on the teams in the largest outdoor swim meet in the nation. Learn more at swim.ridgewoodallcity.com.
Right now, the latest in the January 6th investigation, including potentially deleted text messages by Secret Service members.
Calm and quiet are in the days ahead. We'll take a look at our latest forecast coming up.
Good morning and thanks for joining us on News 3 Now. I'm Shane Hogan. We're going to start with things on a check on our weather. Julian, a much calmer day than yesterday.
That's right, but to start things off, we got to talk about how much rain we even saw here in southern Wisconsin. For Madison alone, yesterday from the event, as of right now, we've reported just close to 1.5 inches of rainfall, which is quite significant because some areas saw even more. Now, in terms of our deficit of where we're at, normally around 22 inches of that this time of year, but we're at around 20, so we still have quite a bit of a deficit and some catching up to do in terms of rainfall. Now, as we take a look, as we're waking up this morning, the good news is the rain and storms have cleared out of southern Wisconsin, even though the cloud cover is still there. But here's one thing we are looking at is how much rain we've really saw throughout much of southern and central Wisconsin. Folks, you're seeing the pink and red on your screen. That's close to 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. And even for some areas just outside of Madison, close to around 2 inches of rain has fallen for us. So we saw significant rain throughout much of southern Wisconsin through the multiple rounds of storms that we saw. And not just the heavy rain is what we experienced, but we also saw plenty of wind reports, which really was the big theme in the story of the storms that kept rolling through yesterday. As you can see, starting off from La Crosse all the way to our friends into the far northeast, and even here in Dane County, we had multiple wind reports and even some damage reports because of those high and strong damaging winds. Now, as we're waking up this morning, our cloud cover is really holding firm, but the good news is we're going to be expecting that to clear up by the time we get into the later part of today. But for right now, 72 degrees, and it feels still rather muggy. We're still holding on to a bit of that moisture for us as of right now, but we are just going to be waiting for that cold front to sweep through, which is going to be clearing things up for us, and on top of it, start to cool things down as well in terms of our dew points. We'll take a look at our latest forecast coming up in a few moments. Until then, let's toss it back to you, Shane.
All right, Julian, thank you for keeping us updated this morning. And as customers wake up this morning, thousands are out without power in Wisconsin after the severe storms that rolled through last night. Some new numbers right now. Alliant Energy is reporting 295 outages affecting thousands of customers. Over 2,700 customers have lost power here in Dane County and about 500 in Rock County. And Winnebago County was hit the hardest with more than 5,900 customers without power. And this morning, the search continues for a missing boater in Lake Monona. Crews had to call off their efforts yesterday due to severe weather. First responders were called to the lake around 1 p.m. yesterday afternoon for reports of a fisherman who went overboard. 2 other men were in the boat at the time, and they told deputies the 74-year-old Milwaukee man was driving the boat and fell out when they hit a swell and turned sharply. Law enforcement was not able to find the missing man before the severe weather forced divers out of the water. Officials ask that boaters stay a safe distance away from sheriff's offices' boats in order to protect the divers. Yesterday's storm postponed the 25th anniversary celebration for the Monona Terrace. The festivities are rescheduled for today, and things look good for that at 6:30. Gates open at 5:30. The event is being held at the William T. Evju Gardens on top of the convention center. It will feature local and regional bands, dance performances, free cupcakes and ice cream, and conclude with a drone show over Lake Monona. Admission is free, but space on the terrace is limited. Even before the rain, wind, and clouds rolled in, people in our area wanted to enjoy their summer Saturday, but had some less than ideal weather to work with. Simply put, yesterday was very hot before those storms. Talil Mohadeen spoke with fair goers at the Alliant Energy Center and shares how they managed the heat.
At the Dane County Fair, everyone's got their own reason to turn up.
First of all, the funnel cakes are amazing. The fair rides, of course, the kids love that.
Just to hang out with family.
Ride right there.
But one thing people say they could do without...
Oh, it's been miserable.
The heat.
I was just sweaty. It was just gross and warm.
Ariel Hannon says she usually sticks around as long as her kids are having fun, but today they're dipping out a little early.
She just got hot and she was tired, so we were like, nope, we're going home.
But as she's heading home, others are just making their way through the gate. To beat the heat, they waited until the clouds set in. For their fun, they're betting on the calm before the storm.
Right now it's kind of nice weather, so.
But for many vendors working the fair, like Allie Balmer,
I'm here with Keep Calm toolkits.
Avoiding the heat altogether isn't really an option, but Balmer says they're finding ways to manage it.
Yeah, we've just been doing a lot of rotating and lots of water breaks or the lemonade here at the fair.
And keeping an eye out for stormy weather.
If it starts to get too windy and any of our things start kind of blowing over or product blowing off a shelf, we'll definitely have to close then.
In Madison, Dane County, News 3 Now.
In addition to cold lemonade at the fair, there was a cooling station and building access available for people needing a break from the heat. Today is the last day of the Dane County Fair at the Alliant Energy Center. Now to the latest in the January 6th investigation. Sources say investigators have studied the phones of 10 Secret Service members, finding metadata that indicates text messages had been erased. The Secret Service details for both former President Trump and former Vice President Pence on January 6th are among 24 personnel whose text messages are under review. It has not been revealed yet if they are among the 10 personnel whose phones had metadata showing text messages that had been sent, received, then erased. Investigators acknowledge the text messages could have been deleted during a data migration of Secret Service phones that began on January 27th of 2021. There is growing outrage over a violent arrest of a black man in a Memphis suburb. Oakland, Tennessee police officers are accused of racial profiling and excessive use of force in the arrest of Brandon Calloway. Now, we do want to warn you, video of this incident is disturbing. It shows the moment when officers entered the family home of 25-year-old Calloway. The officers can be seen chasing Calloway from room to room, one swinging a baton at him. A stun gun was also deployed, but police say it had no effect. Calloway is then restrained on the ground when an officer appears to step on his head or neck. Police say Calloway failed to stop at a stop sign and drove 32 in a 20-mile-per-hour zone. And instead of stopping for police, he drove about a half mile to his family's home. According to the police report, Calloway started running into the house while reaching into his pockets.
His trauma is a message to the world. This is the wrong way to do things. He didn't ask for the officers to use this amount of force.
The department says Calloway was cleared by medics before he was taken into custody. He is facing several charges, which include evading arrest and disorderly conduct. Police say the case has been officially turned over to the county district attorney's office. The man accused of trying to stab a New York candidate for governor is under arrest on federal charges. 43-year-old David Jacobonis had been out on bond on state charges of assaulting Congressman Lee Zeldin during a campaign speech on Thursday. Zeldin was campaigning for governor when Jacobonis rushed the stage using a keychain as a weapon. Yesterday, he was put behind bars again, this time on federal charges of assaulting a member of Congress with a dangerous weapon. Zeldin was not hurt in the event. From viral videos, playing music on the street, and even selling their hair, Ukrainians, including young children, are finding innovative ways to raise cash for what they say they really need: weapons. Millions of dollars in handouts have poured in for refugees, but Scott McLean speaks to those who argue what's crucial to win the fight against Russia is money for basic things like flak jackets and helmets, right up to sophisticated weaponry.
Це питання сучасної зброї.
Of the losses we suffer, it's a matter of modern weapons, which we must get.
President Zelensky rarely gives a speech without appealing for weapons. But while he waits for the West to deliver, ordinary citizens are getting impatient.
Любі українці, цей день настав. Ми купуємо байрактари.
Enter Serhi Pratula, a TV host who set out to raise $15 million to buy Turkish military drones called Bayraktars, the small but extremely effective weapon that's gained a cult following in Ukraine, thanks to videos like this. His crowdfunding appeal didn't raise $15 million, but $20, almost all of it from Ukrainians inside the country.
People from foreign countries, they don't donate for Ukrainian army. But you need to understand that $1 you donate for Ukrainian army save $10 that you donate for Ukrainian refugees. If we stop Russians, so you have no refugees.
Ukrainians don't need convincing, like this 9-year-old who sold her hair in Chernihiv, or this 6-year-old busking in Dnipro, both to raise money for the front lines.
What does it say about your country that you have kids fundraising for deadly military weapons?
I think that those kids don't want to die.
The Turkish manufacturer has since announced it will send 3 drones for free, leaving Pratula with a $20 million decision. What weapons does Ukraine need most? President Zelensky blamed a lack of heavy artillery for the withdrawal from Luhansk. He has also called for better air defense systems. But sometimes the need is much more basic. Anna Nikolskaya Pukas just received a small order of camo first aid backpacks for the front lines, all bought with money she raised only after she ran out of her own money buying flak jackets and helmets.
If ordinary citizens can help our government, they will, as I do, no problem, because it's our future.
In a bohemian back alley in Kyiv, former pacifist Kate Sass hopes her magic wands will conjure up a victory. In fact, all of the artists and designers here are selling their Ukrainian-made products to buy frontline supplies for war. Screenwriter and musician Irena Karpa knows that artists are perhaps not your stereotypical military backers.
We were all like Gandhi, Che Guevara, But right now we just don't have a choice, We don't really believe into diplomatic issues because we know that we cannot discuss with Putin unless he withdraws his troops from our lands.
And yesterday, a group of U.S. House members met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv. In a statement from Ukraine's presidential office, Zelensky noted the help of the United States in defense of his country against the Russian invasion. The U.S. delegation visit follows the recent announcement of more military help for Ukraine, including launcher systems, shells, and unmanned aerial vehicles. Still to come this morning, how cities across the country are dealing with dangerous heat.
Don't miss A1 Furniture's warehouse clearance sale with savings up to 40% off, plus instant cashback and free financing. 2-piece living room sets from $7.99, sectionals $9.99, queen mattress just $2.99. Only at A1 Furniture and Mattress.
Lash Sensational Sky High from Maybelline, New York. Limitless length plus volume. Flex brush. Over 10 million sold. And try Sky High Cosmic Black. Intense black pigments. Only from Maybelline, New York.
Some numbers are inspiring. Some playful. Some worth celebrating. After an accident, there's one critical number that helps you get your life back. Factoring in your needs for today and tomorrow. That's where Habish and Rotier's numbers really add up. With over 90 years of client successes and 13 offices to help you wherever you are. No other personal injury law firm is better suited to get the amount that's right for you.
What do you do when it's time to get the crew back together? You book it. And then you wine it, and then you dine it, and then you hike it. Whatever your reason, book direct at choicehotels.com.
Hi, this is Lisa from 4Imprint. Yes. I like 50 welcome wows, 300 customer I love it, and 200 team member oh yes. Certainly. We got some brand new woohoos.
Dial up the wow factor with promotional products from 4Imprint. We specialize in awesome items that are certain to awe and guaranteed to deliver some ooh yes. From apparel, backpacks, drinkware to high-tech items. Wow.
I love it. Woohoo!
Go to 4imprint.com and find some wow now. 4Imprint, for certain.
It's Make My Mondays at Hy-Vee. This Monday, get Hormel Black Label Bacon, only $2.99. Hy-Vee bar cheese, only 99 cents. And Hy-Vee cereal, 4 for only $5. Monday only. And save even more during Red, White, and Fuel. Right now, save up to $7.21 per gallon with your Hy-Vee Fuel Saver Plus Perks card. And visit HyVeeDeals.com for even more deals.
How do you use your energy? Hitting the ball farther than yesterday? Fielding whatever comes your way? Trying to shine as bright as the sun? At Alliant Energy, we bring more clean, renewable energy to our customers every single day to power what matters to you. Because even during the most powerful moments in our lives, we're not thinking about power, we're thinking about each other. Alliant Energy, powering beyond.
Back to school means big savings at A1 Furniture. Mattresses for $149, sofas $399, flip-flops $299, dressers $149. Up to 40% off store-wide plus instant cash back. The Back to School Savings Event, only at A1 Furniture.
We're still holding on to some cloud cover here in Madison, but the good news is, folks, we will start to see it clear up later into today. So just hold on. You can actually hold your breath for this one because we are actually going to be seeing a bit of relief. In terms of temperatures currently here in Madison, well, it's 72 degrees. However, it is still rather humid, but we will also see that start to fall as we get into the later part of our afternoon, as we are going to be anticipating a cold front coming in from Canada, which will keep things rather pleasant throughout the course of our Sunday afternoon. Temperatures into the northern Wisconsin are already into the 60s, while we're still holding on to some milder conditions because of those storms that have swept through and even the humidity as well. But again, this is all going to break, so don't worry. It's going to feel rather great by the time we get into our afternoon hours. So planning out the day, you're going to need the sunglasses by the time we get into our lunchtime hour, as we will start to see some more sun. And on top of it, the temperatures are still going to hold into the lower end of those 80s. It's going to feel great today, so make sure you enjoy it. We'll talk more about the forecast coming up in a few moments. Until then, back to you, Shane.
Julian, thank you for keeping us updated. And for tens of millions of Americans, they are dealing with more oppressive heat today. Further west, wildfires are a major concern. CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette reports from New York.
It's sizzling across the Northeast.
Oh, I'm warm as hell.
Triple-digit temperatures are hitting the region for the first time in 6 years.
It's too hot. It's too hot right now.
The high heat didn't keep some away from their exercise routines in Washington, but in Boston, today's triathlon is postponed a few weeks out of safety concerns. Participants had been getting ready for the conditions.
I've been hydrating all week, preparing, and just knowing that I may have to take it a bit easier than I would hope, just because I knew the heat and humidity is definitely dangerous.
Keeping cool in public pools in Cumberland County, Pennsylvania is more challenging. Hours are reduced this weekend because staff shortages have forced lifeguards to work longer shifts than usual.
With the high temperatures come big crowds, and it becomes a lot of pressure on lifeguards sitting up there, especially in heat. It can be very dangerous.
In Bel Air, Kansas, those in one community believe the heat wave killed 1,000 fish in a pond.
When the water level drops, then the oxygen content drops also. And then the heat with the really hot over in 100-degree days, that really takes the toll on the water.
In Mariposa County, California, drought is fueling the Oak Fire, which erupted Friday, forcing more than 6,000 residents to evacuate.
This is the first time ever in my life being evacuated, so this is kind of different. You know, a lot of anxiety.
At least 2,000 homes are threatened. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
And the Oak Fire is one of the largest wildfires this year in California, burning nearly 12,000 acres. Governor Newsom has declared a state of emergency for the county. And in Texas, the blade of a wind turbine caught fire Friday after it was struck by lightning. A field engineer working nearby caught this footage of the wind turbine moments after the strike. You can see those rings of smoke coming from the blade with each turn. Then the fire intensifies, producing thick black smoke. No injuries were reported. The incident is still under investigation. And still ahead, one local business is celebrating a milestone. We're going to tell you about that. And you're taking a live look at the Capitol. Julian's back with another look at our forecast.
Look Who's 3 is sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
Save, we believe local produce shouldn't be hard to find. That's why we work with local farms right in our own backyard to bring you fresher than fresh produce.
You got everything I need. You're like medicine to me. Oh, baby, you.
Because shopping for local produce should be as easy as shopping at your local Pick and Save. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now, there's Skyrizi.
Things are getting clearer. I feel free to play my skin. Yeah, that's on me. Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin. That's my new plan. Nothing is everyday.
Achieve clearer skin with Skyrizi. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clearer skin at 4 months. In another study, most people had 90% clearer skin even at 4 years. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
It's my moment, so I just gotta say. Nothing is everyday.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine, or plan to.
Now's the time to ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
I want to share my story so others can know that they are not alone.
When my mom and dad were first expecting, the pregnancy had complications and there was very little chance of survival. My mom's health was at risk too. She chose to end the pregnancy.
It was my decision, not some politicians.
Every woman should have the right to make her own decision. And I'll fight alongside you every step of the way until you do. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Madison Magazine's Summer Restaurant Week is here. Participating restaurants will provide a 3-course meal starting at $30 featuring wine and more, starting July 24th through the 29th. For a list of participating restaurants, menus, and details, visit MadisonRestaurantWeek.com. It's a perfect opportunity to sample some of Madison's local restaurants. Don't miss Madison Magazine's Summer Restaurant Week 2022. Presenting sponsor, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund. Wine sponsor, Delicato and Frederick Wildman.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
A cloudy and a humid start to our Sunday, but the good news is at least we're not waking up to just widespread storms like we were just a few hours ago. Still holding on to a bit of an overcast, but don't worry, folks. We are starting to see a bit of that light shining its way through as we're getting throughout the rest of our morning. Planning out the rest of today, well, it's going to be shaping up to be honestly pretty wonderful. Less humidity, temperatures into the lower 80s is going to be great relief from what it was just yesterday. Now, as we take a look at our radar as of right now, all the storms and any showers that we were seeing over the last few hours are starting to move their way out of the upper Midwest. Still impacting areas like Chicago for right now, but for us, well, folks, it's going to be on the drier side. Now, taking a look at all the rain that we saw over the last 24 hours, man, it was a soaker. Even just outside of Madison, towards the northern eastern side of Dane County, we saw just a little bit over 2 inches of rain. And for friends just south of Fond du Lac, we saw close to 6 inches of rainfall. So we saw a significant amount of rain throughout many areas in southern Wisconsin. However, towards Janesville, pretty similar to just the northeast of Dane County with around 2.2 inches of rain, and just south of Platteville, not even a half, but still saw a good amount of rainfall for us. And outside of the heavy rain, the storm reports were showing plenty of wind gust reports and even wind damage throughout much of southern Wisconsin, starting in from the central areas from La Crosse and stretching its way again over towards Fond du Lac and even towards Green Bay area. Here in Madison and Dane County, we had a couple of hail reports and, of course, some wind reports as well. But the good news is the system is going to continue to track its way southeast out of the upper Midwest, and we are looking at a cold front to sweep its way through the upper Midwest, which will be dropping our dew points and be bringing our temperatures to feel more pleasant. So that's right, folks. The next couple of days are going to be rather comfortable, especially as we get into our afternoon. Once we start to see that cold front rolling in, things are going to be pretty comfortable for us as that northwesterly breeze breeze is going to keep things into the lower 80s and the upper 70s. Going into tonight, it's going to be a comfortable one. Once again, I just got to keep repeating that because it's going to feel so great, and we haven't had that in a while. So waking up tomorrow morning into the lower 60s, some areas just north of Dane County are going to be into the 50s for us. And by lunchtime, if you want to eat outside, it's going to be a nice one. Not a lot of breeze, and on top of it, temperatures will be into the lower 70s. Going into our Monday evening, still into the mid 70s and upper 70s for some areas just west of Dane County. And going into our Monday night, again, it's going to just be a pleasant one. And the one thing we are going to be watching for, dry conditions for the next couple of days. We could see some showers or storms start to develop late Tuesday night over into our early Wednesday morning, and again, late Wednesday night into our early Thursday morning. But outside of that, we are going to be entering a dry trend, so get comfortable and enjoy it while we have it. Just a couple of storm chances, but pleasant weather is going to stick around throughout the next few days. Low 80s, upper middle 70s, plenty of sunshine, a couple of days of some humid conditions, but overall for our last week of July, which is really the dog days of summer, this is honestly one of the best forecasts we've had in quite a while if things hold like this, Shane.
Can't really beat what we've got up on the screen right now. Looking comfortable, looking pleasant, and looking forward to it. Last week of July. Hard to believe we're already here.
I know. It's been a very short but long summer, so I'm looking forward to being able to enjoy the weather this week.
Me too. Julian, appreciate you.
Yep.
Well, you usually see them in emergencies, but last night a local company wanted you to meet first responders in a different way. It's an event from the Bruce Company. You could shake hands and get to know firefighters and EMS teams, as well as tour fire trucks and ambulances. The event organizer says there's a specific goal to create strong relationships between these lifesavers and the community.
Sometimes when you're little and you meet a firefighter, you end up aspiring to be one. So you never can know what can come out of a little event like this. But yeah, we're just really proud to have them as our neighbors here.
And there was also games and snacks for families. You can learn more about this event on our website, channel3000.com. A longtime business in downtown Madison is celebrating its 20th anniversary. Hawk's Bar and Grill is a State Street legend, and in its 2 decades of business, owner Hawk Sullivan says they've seen a lot of highs and some lows, but have always loved the variety of customers they get downtown. He says what makes Hawk special and most of all keeps it going is the staff.
A little more goofy in there, and I don't take myself very seriously. We don't take ourselves very seriously. But it's been great, you know. I mean, State Street 20 years later, we're still going, so.
Congratulations to them. Now, the family celebration featured a face painting, a magician, balloon animals, and a special visit there from Bucky Badger. Sullivan says he plans to keep the doors open for as long as he can, with the hopes of one day passing the business down to his kids. Well, make News 3 part of your weekly routine by downloading the Channel 3000 app for the latest headlines and weather conditions 24/7. And when we get back, a big rescue for a humane society. It's a great story. We'll be back in just a minute.
Son, it's about time we had the talk. It's time you knew the truth. Windows can take a beating, especially here in the Midwest. When it's time to replace them, call Feldco.
Isn't Feldco offering 2-for-1 windows right now, Dad?
They are, son. They are.
Less talk, more action. 2-for-1 windows from Feldco makes home improvement easy and affordable.
2-for-1 windows ends soon. Call now.
Quality windows, siding, and doors. Call 866 for Feldco.
Dear gas prices, Toyota's hybrid lineup says, go take a hike. Because we bring efficiency with power and savings with style. Think you can stand in our way? We got this. Toyota Hybrids.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan with roadside assistance. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Your mission, stand up to moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis or active psoriatic arthritis and take it on with Rinvoq. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that tackles pain, stiffness, swelling. For some, Rinvoq significantly reduces RA and PSA fatigue. It can stop irreversible joint damage. And Rinvoq can leave skin clear or almost clear in PSA. That's Rinvoq Relief.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers, including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Ask your rheumatologist about Rinvoq relief. Rinvoq. Make it your mission. Learn how AbbVie could help you save on Rinvoq.
What do you do when it's time to get the crew back together? You book it. And then you wine it, and then you dine it, and then you hike it. Whatever your reason, book direct at choicehotels.com.
Denny's all-time favorite Super Slam is back. Get bacon, sausage, eggs, hash browns, and buttermilk pancakes for only $6.99. Give your wallet a break and send it on a summer slamcation. The hottest deals are at Denny's, America's value destination.
In the heart of summer, young swimmers and divers compete in what has become the largest outdoor swim meet in the country.
I don't think we ever thought it was going to get to this big.
How Madison's all-city swim dive meet has now been making a splash for 60 years.
Monday on News 3 now at 6. Concerts on the Square are back each Wednesday night through August 3rd. Enjoy a performance by the Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra with family and friends at this totally free event starting at 7 p.m. Learn more at wcoconcerts.org.
Finally this morning, some good news out of Newark, Ohio, where one humane society performed a major rescue of dozens of dogs.
Inside the Licking County Humane Society, the largest rescue to date.
They're really quite sweet while they're clearly just extremely neglected.
80 dogs and puppies shaken, afraid, bruised after being rescued from a home in Newark.
All of them came in with really problematic flea infestation.
The Humane Society says police were initially called about the condition of the home this morning. When they went to check it out, they found these guys. The oldest is 12 years old. The youngest are newborn pups.
A number of them have some skin concerns, so medically we're going to have to treat those, some with open wounds and such, as we thought that there might be some fighting amongst them in this small confined space.
That small confined space left one dog with a plastic O around its neck. But the neglect didn't stop there.
I would say the most severe case was an older dog she's blind, so both her eyes were chronic conditions that had been left untreated. Her skin was pretty severe. She has several mammary tumors, several teeth missing. I'm hoping we'll be able to save her eyes, but I just don't know at this point.
While there are many unknowns, doctors say with the right treatment, they'll be back on their feet.
I think they're going to do just fine eventually in their forever new loving home.
In Licking County, Kiana Dyches, 10 TV News.
Such a good story there, and hopefully these pups make it to a forever home and can live out the rest of their lives healthy and happy.
Absolutely. You got to love stories like that. It's kind of nice to be able to rescue and, just bring them back. Hopefully they find great homes and loving parents.
All right, how about one more check on our Sunday forecast?
Man, well, the next few days are going to feel great for us. Starting with today, now the storms have rolled out for us, folks. It is going to be sunny, and on top of it, the temperatures will be into the lower 80s. Next few days, a couple of shots of seeing a couple of storms, but overall it's going to be pleasant and comfortable in the days ahead.
All right, thanks for waking up with us. It was fun to join you here on the show. Julian, we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.